A lot of people out there deal with psoriasis. And what is psoriasis and what do they typically do for it and what can we do for it naturally to try to get to the root of the problem? Well, the problem is unknown. They don't know exactly what causes psoriasis. It's an autoimmune inflammatory condition where the body attacks itself and makes you produce extra skin cells. These people typically get rashes all over their body with silver scales on them, right? That's one hallmark trait. At least when you look at them, they get pitted nails, things of that nature. It could also lead to something called psoriatic arthritis, where the body attacks the joints mistakenly, right, and pretty much obliterates them over time. So a recent trial involving 286 people, rather it was a meta-analysis of 5 randomized controlled trials, showed that over the course of 2 to 6 months, with people with psoriasis given prebiotics and probiotics, was successfully able to improve symptoms to a relatively significant degree. So we'll talk about that in a second and maybe why, okay, and what other diseases this relates to, this fact. Now, what do they typically do for psoriasis? Well, they'll give you some topical cream, typically containing steroids, anti-inflammatory, suppress the immune system a little bit. They'll inject immunosuppressants. They'll do things like phototherapy, right, for the skin portion of the condition. And so, these all can be helpful in the interim, but they treat the symptoms, as does Western medicine most often, right? Now, what do we have in terms of diet and lifestyle and natural supplements? Well, exercise is really great for everything. Not having processed foods, added sugars, refined flours, stuff like that is good, at least could be helpful. Having a diet rich in whole foods, healthy fats, getting ample amounts of proteins, cook as much as you can, having anti-inflammatory foods like avocado, extra virgin olive oil, dark berries, things like ginger, onion, a lot of stuff like that. There are many anti-inflammatories. Fatty fish are up there at the top. Nuts and seeds are great. This may help to get more to the root of the problem, right? But what do we have in terms of natural supplements that have been studied for psoriasis, and do they actually work? Well, these might help. Keyword is might, because there is some mixed research here, and we'll talk about why I think that is here in a second. Well, you have selenium, zinc, aside from prebiotics and probiotics, that is. You have omega-3s, vitamin D, phlebotium aureum, and something called inositol. Phlebotium aureum is something that also could help with hair, skin, and nail health. So no surprise that we also see it here with psoriasis, an autoimmune and skin condition, right? What is inositol? Well, that's vitamin B8. They've used it for a wide array of purposes, from symptoms of PCOS to metabolic syndrome, improving the function of insulin, a lot for psych disorders, improving mental functioning, a lot of different things they've used inositol for. Could I say that it's going to cure your psoriasis? Of course not. None of this isn't a video to cure your psoriasis. You should talk to your doctor about it, of course. But it's a video that gives you a better idea of how to maybe help yourself get rid of this problem, right? And especially if it's something that they don't know what causes it. By the way, inositol is a simple carbohydrate, if you guys were curious. Exactly what it is. So we said that prebiotics and probiotics improve symptoms in these people. And we said a healthy diet goes a long way for at least helping to reduce symptoms. And so what's kind of the correlation here? Well, you're getting to the root of the problem if you address your overall health, lifestyle, and gut bacteria, right? So diet, lifestyle, gut health. Prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics are what feed your gut bacteria, like soluble fiber, right? And probiotics are the bacteria themselves. When you feed the bacteria, they produce SCFA, short-chain fatty acids, like acetate and butyrate and caproic acid, valeric acid, whatever. The names don't matter. But these things control the regulation of your immune system to a great degree. And so if you have dysregulation of the immune system and they don't know what the cause is, we've said this before at One Wellness, look to correcting your gut health. And many patients that I've had, this has had some substantial beneficial effect on their overall health and also conditions some of the time, right? And so you look to the gut health. We said a healthy diet. Well, it makes total sense, guys. Your gut controls almost everything in your body. And like we say at One Wellness, it's like beating a dead horse, but really optimize your gut health, and that could go a long way. Okay, so you want more soluble fiber, you want fermented foods. Soluble fiber, pretty much fruits and vegetables, right? You can also find it in things like chia seeds. 2.5 tablespoons has 10 grams. One avocado has 10 grams. Pack of blueberries has 10 grams, one of those pints, right? So, men should be getting 35 grams of soluble fiber in a day, and women 25 grams, if I said milligrams, of fiber in a day, right? That's the recommended daily amount for adult men and women. Now, On top of that, we want to have the bacteria themselves, so we want those fermented foods. If you're not going to take a probiotic supplement, if you are going to take a probiotic supplement, 50 to 100 billion CFU, preferably refrigerated in a diverse species panel, many different species, right? And if it's a symbiotic, where it's combined with prebiotics, even better, right? So they have something that's going to help feed them, and then you also have the bacteria. But you are feeding them with the fiber that you're having. So what are some fermented foods that we could go for if we have conditions like this and nothing else has worked, or in general, just to be healthier and optimize gut health, right? Well, we have many fermented foods. Kefir is probably king. It has the most colony forming units. You know, sources differ. Some say 25 billion CFU. Some say even up to 1 trillion or 2 trillion. You know, whatever it is, it's definitely a lot, and it's probably the most of any other fermented food out there, right? Yogurt comes up there a lot. Make sure it doesn't have any added sugar, no antibiotics, hormones, things like that for the cows, right? They source the milk from. So kefir is fermented milk. They add the kefir grains first, and through that fermentation process of the yeast, you get more nutritious byproduct than traditional sour milk. Sour milk is another fermented food that contains probiotics, and so is kimchi, which is pretty high up there as well. Natto, miso, tempeh, sauerkraut, kombucha, all those types of things. So if you have psoriasis, or you know someone that does, maybe look to the gut. That's what we got for you guys. And talk to your doctor again, above all. Who do we got on here? Say what's up. We're going to rock and roll. We're going to go treat some more patients. Kyle, how you doing? Rokero, Akinaha, Slim Shreds, what's up, brother? How you doing, Benny? Good, man. Abdulio, Ass, what's up, pretty girl? How you doing? CB, Optimum, Anti-Aging, Maddie's Fraud, Ma, love you. What's up? What's up? You have a great diet and lifestyle. You're very healthy, healthiest person I know. Bull City King, Moonbo, what's up, Marcus? How you doing, OG? Subscriber up in here. Shout out to you, my man. Moonman, Dude Bro, and Sopatsua. As for now. So we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have an awesome day. Thanks a lot. Happy One Wellness. See you later.